What are some study tips for high school students who are struggling and want to improve? Number 1 mistake I made in high school was assuming that my teachers were always good at dispensing content in an understandable way. There's so much variance. Depending on your teacher, plague your teacher with questions before, after class. Hopefully, they're to help you. Take notes during class. Take a picture of the board if you need to. If your teacher goes off slideshows, get copies of each lecture. Supplement your teacher's lectures with lectures from the internet. There's almost always someone online who's figured out a better way to divulge the info than your teacher. If your teacher is confusing or going too fast, let them know, maybe multiple times. They might not realize. Look into private tutoring. Maybe your school offers it, or your teacher would be willing to help, or something online. A good tutor analyzes what you know so they can teach at your level. Get enough sleep and eat right. Keep your brain running at high efficiency for efficient studying. Study in short bursts. I remember a psych professor in college saying it's been proven that after 20 to 30 minutes of studying your brain starts to retain less and less information. So study for 20 to 30 minutes, take a quick 10-minute break, then go back to studying. Don't procrastinate or take a break before doing your work. The second you get assigned homework, start it immediately after school. This one might be obvious, but it's something that helps me out. This is not exactly a study tip, but if you don't understand anything, no matter how stupid, never shy away from asking a teacher. If you use flashcards, start with 2 or 3 and slowly add in more to the deck once you've mastered a few. I used to think flashcards didn't work because I'd sit there with a deck of 50 wondering why I couldn't remember any when I got back to the beginning. Maybe this is obvious for some people, but was a life-changing moment for me when a high school teacher recommended. A change of scenery does wonders. No matter how amazing your desk at home is, studying in the library is way more productive due to social pressure and your brain knowing that you're here to study. Reading tips: don't highlight for the sake of highlighting without giving a reason. At the end of every text you highlight, write a short sentence explaining why you're highlighting that part. 2 or 3 key words works also. At the end of every chapter in the textbook, write summary of it that is at least a page long. If the chapter is broken into a lot of sections, write half a page for each section. Reading the summaries will help when test time comes, and you can reuse the summaries in your essays if applicable. Writing tips: write your introduction last. It sounds crazy, but this allows you to restructure the essay if you see it's not flowing correctly. Use an outline, or a brainstorm map. Even if it's only a couple of words, seeing your paper, in the flesh, even in the embryonic stage, helps. Use the voice recorder app on your phone if you get an idea for your paper or project and can't write it down at that moment. You're gonna forget it if you leave it for later. If you're not doing it already, write your papers in Google Docs. It saves per keystroke, so you don't have to worry about losing work if your computer crashes. Proofread your work by reading it out loud if you can't have someone proofread it for you. You'll catch a lot of errors this way instead of just using your eyes. If you don't pay for printing, then print out a copy and go over it manually. Time management: 45 minutes of work for every 15 minutes of rest. Start with this and reduce it the closer you get finishing your paper. Task minus 30 30ths, 15 45ths, etc. I use 15 minutes intervals. Use whatever you want. Homework organization: start by doing your easier HWS first and scale upwards towards the hardest. The easier HWS will get you in the groove quicker than tackling the harder ones will. Going for the harder problems first already has you at a disadvantage and will discourage you from doing work. Edit: thank you very much for the gold, silver. Please consider donating instead to backpack programs, or help teachers get the classroom supplies need. When I'm trying to learn something, I pretend that I am teaching someone, and for some reason this helps. Write notes down. There's something about reading notes written down by yourself and it stays longer in your memory. Treat it like a job. Hit the books Monday through Friday 9 to 5. Work in the library, not your room or apartment. Don't miss a class. Work ahead during that 40 hours. This method worked wonders for me and I never had to stay up late trying to cram stuff. Place your phone in another room while studying. Don't study in your bed. Go somewhere else to study, desk, library, school, and don't be afraid to ask your teacher or academic counselor what they think you should do. Most teachers are always willing to help students who show they care. I learned from my experience that studying for hours doesn't mean anything if I'm not taking in stuff and really understanding things enough to the point I could explain it or describe it within some other example cases, problems. So ideally finding the best way you learn, and then sticking to it. Do you like to rephrase things to understand it, or draw it out, or other visual aids? Maybe saying what you think is important out loud is the way to go. Many options, but sticking by one or a few that suits you best and gradually working out how to improve that process is probably a really efficient way to study than reading everything and then trying to memorizing things over and over again for a long period of time. Find out how you learn best. I learn by writing, so rewriting, distilling my notes was the best way for me to study for a test. You might need flashcards, or a study buddy to talk through tough concepts, or record lectures to listen to later. No use studying in a way your brain doesn't process. Learn how you learn and do it. Take breaks while studying. No monster 5-hour cramming sessions. I needed a break every 45 minutes or so. Walk around, do push-ups, or squats, or yoga, for 5 minutes, then back to the books. Breaks help decrease the monotony, and give you something to look forward to. Have a trusted friend, elder, or teacher read your essays before submission. Seriously, another set of eyes can do wonders for coherence, flow, and thinking through concepts. This leads into make a plan. No more last-minute shenanigans. Write down due dates and work backwards, leaving yourself enough time to chip away at projects, papers, and studying. Talk to your teachers in those tough classes. They may be seeing you struggle, and want to help, so reach out. Use whatever tutoring services are available at your school, even peers, and get the help you need. Sleep. Again, sleep. In high school your brain is still developing. You need sleep to process all you are learning. 8 hours or more is recommended at your age. I know it sucks, but clean up your sleep hygiene. Stick with roughly the same bedtime, and no screen time for at least an hour before bed. Exercise. Doesn't need to be extravagant, but make it part of your self-care routine. You can vent frustration, and it will help with sleep. Factor in time for fun. Just because you now have a kick-ass study plan doesn't mean you have no life. Long-term success means enjoying what you can, when you can. Make time for friends, family, pets, etc. Break the work down into smaller amounts. Make note cards or outlines. Rewriting the work can help you remember. It also can highlight brief facts that are easier to remember versus large paragraphs. Read it out loud. Find someone to study with. Study at the library or a coffee shop instead of at home. If you can afford it, get a cheap second laptop that is only for school. Do not install any programs other than what you need for your classes. Only use the laptop for school. Only do schoolwork on that laptop. These two things saved me. Go to a library. The environment should help you focus. Limit the electronic devices. Break up the studying into segments. So for second language classes, Duolingo is a lifesaver. It makes casual study much easier. Also, Khan Academy is an excellent tool that I strongly encourage you use. Stop being so worried about fluffing up right now. You can fix it far easier than you think. 1. It didn't really exist when I was in high school. But as an adult, I fluffing love YouTube. Every problem I want, everything I don't understand, there always seems to be at least one person on YouTube who can explain it to me in a way that I will comprehend. Khan Academy is also a great resource. 2. Do it while you see it. Type or write what you see the other person doing. Sometimes it won't click until later why you did that, but the muscle memory will be there, and contextualizes the understanding better, so it will stick around better. 3. Context matters. Try sitting in the same seat every day in class, if possible. If you chew gum during class, chew gum during the test, etc. Your memory is a weird thing, and triggers are strange. 4. Pretend every class you have allows you to have an index card that you're allowed to reference. Prepare for tests by filtering out what you think you'll need to know, write it on the card. Make the study card, even if it isn't allowed in class. Don't bring it with you or do anything stupid that will get you in trouble. The process you go through while making the study card will help you commit things to memory better, or refresh your memory on topics covered a few weeks ago, and your score will go up, even if you don't actually use the card. 5. If your vision is a problem, straight up ask to sit up front. The number of kids who struggle in studies because they don't want to sit up front, and can't see things because they are blurry to them is frustratingly high. If you are supposed to wear glasses, wear them. I get that you might want contacts or think glasses are uncool, but FFS, how are you gonna pass the class if you can't read the board? If you can't afford glasses, and have vision problems, tell your teacher privately. There's about 100 different programs to get school kids glasses and vision exams for free. 6. Ask for help. I'm not a teacher, but I tutor once a week for 2 hours, and there are teachers, adults, and other people who volunteer completely for free just to help people. 7. Sleep. You must sleep. Staying up until 1 a.m., then waking up at 6 a.m. is bullgarbage. It's hard on your body. It's hard on your brain. It's just fluffing hard. Studying stuff at midnight, when you're completely exhausted, after doing other stuff for 15 hours, isn't going to accomplish a darn thing. Study when you're awake, not first thing in the morning, not last thing at night. 8. Limit distractions. We all love the 5-bean burrito from dinner last night, but if you have it for breakfast before the test this morning, you're going to be sitting through the test thinking about how badly you need to fart, and not about whatever the test subject is, no matter how well you studied. 9. Study in chunks. Study for like 30 minutes, take a 10-minute break. Stretch your legs, get a drink of water, don't go to Facebook, YouTube, or any of the time black hole websites. Then get back to studying. Think of it like exercising your brain. It needs a little rest and recovery time to work properly. If you try to binge and learn for 8 hours straight with no breaks, you're not going to retain as much. 10. Teach it. Work with another student who doesn't understand the same thing, try to explain it to them. I know this sounds weird, but as you try to explain it to someone else, it forces your brain to try dozens or hundreds of ways of explaining the thing, which ultimately results in you getting the explanation that works best in your brain. Teachers, free glasses for $7 minus 20.